Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. And as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Friday afternoon. And we know what that means, right? TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Friday is everybody's favorite day of the week because it means the beginning of the weekend. And you can chill out, unwind from a hard week's work, get your worship on for those of you who are believers, replenish, rest, relax a little bit before you got to start the new week. So Friday is always a good day. And especially around these parts, because every Friday we have what is called an open line show, where you get off of your chest whatever is on your mind. Because you are my co-host today. You're going to help determine the direction of the show today. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, let me tell you something here. The natural hair journey, the struggle is real. Because earlier this week, I decided to get a blowout. And man, when I walked out of my salon, my hairdresser shop, J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, my hair was silky smooth. I mean, just fabulous. Today is Friday. And I'm like, okay, what happened to that silky smooth? Because of all of the moisture in the air? Man, look here. By the end of the week, your hair is like much poofier than it was at the beginning of the week. So yeah, please forgive me if you wonder what's going on with Michelle here, because I didn't get to go to my salon today because I had a luncheon meeting and had to dash from there straight here. So don't blame J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa for the poofiness of my hair today. This is just a part of the natural hair journey. All right, that being said, we have a lot to get to this week, this Friday. So let's get right into it. The telephone numbers to call, the 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272. WhatsApp for text messages. I don't see the WhatsApp line, Jason. WhatsApp for text messages and calls. 801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. We're also streaming live on YouTube on our official channels. And you can also check us out on Cable Bahamas. Channel 974 is where you'll find us. And so I definitely want you guys to be a part of the show today. Every Friday, the show is the most interactive of all that we do, because we want you to be a part of it. You are my co-host today. So let's get to it. Anything that you want to talk about. This is, we're not talking about any one particular thing today, but whatever is on your mind, this is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, I obviously, prepare and pull clips just in case y'all cutting up and no one calling. I got to find something to fill the 2 hours with, but I'm hoping that it'll be less about what I have selected and more about what you guys want to talk about. All right. So, first clip I selected. We all know that there's a serious concern about the level of crime in New Providence in particular, because it's not so much throughout the rest of the Bahamas, but it's pretty much concentrated here in New Providence, where we see this crime, especially murders and rapes, etc., that have gone up, even though the statistics are saying that crime is down. When it comes to specific types of crime, the numbers are quite alarming. So much so that for those of you who missed it yesterday, I had Chief Superintendent Skippings on as my guest. And she spent the full 2 hours with us here at GPS talking about the crime situation in the country. Well, our Prime Minister also recently opined what he believes is a part of the problem, and that is the criminal mindset, the mind of the people who think it's okay to commit these crimes. Here's what the Prime Minister, Philip Davis, had to say.
From a scientific data collection point of view, it tells us that we have to craft interventions at an early age. We have to identify these young men and women who are being abused at young ages and try to put them on the right path. Because for now, the mindset is the recalibration of our young people's mindset.
Now you speak to the recalibration of young minds. What happens now to the criminals who are on the streets now? We're talking about dealing with young people in the school system, but what happens to the criminals who are on the streets now perpetrating crime?
Well, that too, their minds need to be recalibrated.
With a murder every other day, is a directive going to come down for there to be more roadblocks, more police on the road? What is the directive coming down now?
That is happening as you speak. There's not a question of directive. You would have seen over the last several weeks, we have the saturation patrol that is working. You'll see in the next few weeks a number of vehicles that I've invested in to ensure that we have police presence on the street. But even though you have the presence, like I say, a person who is intentional about what they want to do and they plan it, sometimes very difficult to prevent that person from carrying out his plans. All we can do is create the atmosphere to deter them from that.
Okay. I don't have any issue with what the Prime Minister is saying, other than is this the message that was given on the campaign trail? Because as we would have said on this show before, that all politicians, I don't care which side of the divide they're on, when they're in opposition, they have all of the answers. They could tell you very plainly what we need to do to eliminate crime. And when we get into office, we're going to end crime. Yeah, not so much. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If any politician tells you that they have the solution to crime, you know outright that they're liars. Because it has to do with the heart and minds of a people. So, can they put policies in place to try to minimize the frequency that crimes are committed? He's talking about children who are abused, neglected, etc. I definitely think that's a part of it. One of the things that Skipping said yesterday was that it's just a handful of people committing these heinous crimes over and over and over again. So you would think that we have this whole huge population of people who are doing this. No, it's just a pocket, a small pocket of people committing these crimes again and again and again. But instead of asking the question, what's wrong with you? In many instances, more than not, the question should be, what happened to you? Because I do believe that a great part of getting to that point where you think it's okay to kill somebody, that trauma started from early in your life that led you to that point where you don't have a conscience when it comes to taking somebody else's life. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
God bless you. Good afternoon, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good, JT. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Thank God for life. And good afternoon to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling on a different, well, since it is open line, it is, of course, anything goes within reason, I know.
Right.
But definitely on a different tack than I normally do. But just to quickly start off with this, the government's approach to crime. I heard a little snippet about the Minister of National Security talking about punishment, but I was not satisfied, Michelle.
Okay.
I did not hear anything about the death penalty being imposed for the crime of murder,
Mm-hmm.
and et cetera, et cetera. So until they do it God's way, we are not going to be as effective in stamping out crime
Mm-hmm.
as many of us would like to see it done. Because only God has the remedy for crime, and He's given humanity the guidance and the mandate to carry out, i.e., the death penalty for murder, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing short of that is going to be the justified response to and the moral response to the crime of murder. When people realize that the value of their life is going to be taken away from them, or their life indeed will be taken away from them if they commit a particular crime, they're going to be less inclined to do so.
Were you listening yesterday when that former gang member called in?
Yes, I heard the whole thing.
You heard him say that they don't care, right?
Yeah, they don't care.
If an incentive for you is that when I get killed, my boys can pay for my funeral, clearly you don't care about life.
But
You also
when I heard
anybody
that,
else's.
like you, I was like, what? That's a badge of honor?
So if I don't care about my own life, I don't care about yours.
But you see, Michelle, when they are about to be hanged, or like whether to suffer the death penalty, they get scared. They are frightened human beings because they know, whatever means by which their lives will be taken, their lives will be taken literally from them. But it is what it is right now. But I just wanted to briefly touch on that. But I just wanted to quickly mention something to you, Michelle, in regards to, like I said, I'm starting on a different tack today. I want to first of all say that when it comes to Toby Smith and Prescott Smith, two Bahamians that I support in regards to what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
I truly wish and pray and hope and pray that someday both of those men will get to see the full realization of their dreams. And my reason for putting that out like that is that Jerome Thompson and JT, when I express my views on issues like that, I'm not upset with the other Bahamians, like the special interest groups who tend to get everything that they seem to get everything that they want to get in this country because they may have money or influence. I'm not necessarily upset with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm upset with the governance of the government or governance of the country.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my anger lies. Because the mandate of our country, the preamble of the Constitution, states that you and I ought not to be, we ought not to be suffering deprivation nor frustration. I can't quote the preamble, but we ought not to be suffering what Toby Smith and Prescott Smith have suffered, and
Mm-hmm.
others like us.
Mm-hmm.
We ought not to suffer those things in this country. The other thing I wanted to mention, Michelle, and I need to beg your indulgence a little bit. It's nothing improper or anything, but you'll understand in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2003. Yeah, right. 2013. In 2009, I was blessed as a Bahamian who is without physical sight to drive a boat around Nassau and Paradise Island. One of the most wonderful, exciting, dynamic experiences I've ever had as a Bahamian and as a person without physical sight.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that really thrilled me in regard to that experience, Michelle, it's not so much for the fact that I drove the boat, but the many of my fellow Bahamians who were able to enjoy Nassau from a different point of view. For example, there were 2 Defense Force boats that accompanied me around the entire track, Nassau and PI.
Mm-hmm.
There were at least 40 to 45 Bahamians on those Defense Force boats. Michelle, those folks had my fellow Bahamians had so much fun, seeing Nassau for the first time the way this, going around the entire island nonstop. My point for saying that is that I have a non-profit organization, and we are right now looking to apply or implement that very experience for people with disabilities in particular, but for the general public.
Mm-hmm.
We already have a vessel, opportunities now to get things done, and we are looking for opportunities to make it happen. Now, in the near future, I'd like to have your permission to come onto your show maybe and talk more about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could get into the gray area of promoting the organization, and I don't want to do that without your permission in terms of soliciting support.
Right.
But I do want to say that as we're moving forward, God has blessed me with a love for this country and a love for people and a love for my Bahamian people in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, anything that Jerome Thompson, JT, could ever do to help to increase the value of our experience in this country, I care and want to do. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Indeed, many of us were not. I don't even have 2 red pennies to shake up against each other. I think that's how the old folks used to say it years ago. But God has blessed me with the ability to pursue, create opportunities, and to bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are a lot of things happening right now in this country that's exciting, that's on the ground in terms of social, in terms of business, that I'd really like to see many Bahamians. Michelle, if I were a Bahamian, if I were a billionaire right now, as a Bahamian, a lot of the things that's being done in this country, or that I should say, that need to be done for my fellow Bahamians, those things would get done simply because of love for country. I'd really like to see more and more of my fellow Bahamians show more of that love for country, love for humanity, love for their fellow human beings, love for their fellow citizens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have people who are losing their homes left, right, and center. People who are honestly worked hard to get and then to keep their homes. Those persons who are falling on hard times. If I were a billionaire, Michelle, I would ensure that those persons would never lose their homes. I would pay their mortgages off for them without them knowing who did it. Because I would not be looking for credit. I would not be looking for recognition. I would want to see a smile on the face of a mother or a father who's been struggling so long to keep a roof over their heads and the heads of their family.
Mm.
That's where my heart is. So what I'm saying to you today is essentially in that regard, I'm really looking to do things to help my fellow Bahamians to become more relaxed, for us to enjoy this country more, to be the tourist in our own country, to learn about us as a people. I found out something wonderful about North Andros this morning that I never knew before.
Okay.
And that is that in 1973, when the Union Jack was being lowered and our Bahamian flag was being raised on Clifford Park here in Nassau,
Mm-hmm.
the exact same thing was being done at the San Andres, the San Andres Hotel in North Andros. Now, I don't know if that was being done on other family islands or in other constituencies,
Mm-hmm.
but that is a historical fact that I never knew until this morning. So my thing about us as Bahamians, Michelle, if I had the means right now, God knows, I would have been doing all I could to help any one of us as Bahamians, individually or collectively, to enjoy this country more that God has given to us by virtue of our birth in it. So that's a long and short of what I'm saying today. When I speak on issues like I said earlier with Prescott Smith and Toby Smith, I do so because I care.
Mm-hmm.
I love this country. I love people. I don't envy, neither am I jealous of anybody who is successful in this country. But I hate you and I, the typical Bahamians, being deprived of the same opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
to be successful in this country. Because God did not make this country the Commonwealth of the rich, or the Commonwealth of the FNM, or the Commonwealth of the PLP. He gave you and I the privilege of being born in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Therefore, and thereby, you and I, every citizen has the right, equal right to succeed to the fullest extent in this country.
JT, there are some who would argue that that right has not been taken away from us. It's just that our mindset is poisoned. We don't like to work together as a people, more often than not. We come in with the mindset that because of the atrocities of the past, and there's no denying that there were atrocities of the past, that we are incapable or being prevented from doing better. And many people, or some people at least, have decided to use that as a crutch. There's a saying that if you took all of the riches, all of the money in the world, and distributed it evenly with everyone, within 6 months, the rich people would be rich again, and the poor people would be poor again for the most part. Why?
Because of the mindset?
Exactly.
Well, the Bible does say as a person thinks in their heart, so are they. And, the practical truth about that statement, Michelle, is, first of all, money does not define character. Money only exposes it. If somebody is bad with money and they win the lottery, they're gonna squander their money. If somebody is good with money and they win the lottery, they are going to manage or spend that money properly. It truly is the matter of the heart. And Michelle, Andros, for example, at one point in time, Andros was a thriving island. I didn't even know we had a rice plantation in this country until I learned about 10 years ago that Andros was the place where a rice plantation used to be. My point in making reference to Andros is Andros was a bustling island. I mean, a lot of things used to go on in Mangrove Key, in Kemps Bay, in Fresh Creek, in Nicholstown, all over that island. But today, when you look at Andros, Andros is far less productive, far less dynamic, far less exciting in terms of the people being producing and succeeding today as it used to be years ago. And my conclusion of that, Michelle, is politics got in the way. Too many of us allowed ourselves to be swayed by politics. Too many of us put politics in the front of prosperity and progress, genuinely so. We allowed our partyism to get in the way of community togetherness and community harmony. So when you have a people who succeeded as a community and then allow divisiveness of any nature to come in the midst of them, if that people don't watch out, the very same thing that happened in Andros, unfortunately, would happen anywhere else. So to reverse that, it's essentially what I'm talking about now, Michelle. I'd like to see more and more of us Bahamians. If you got land, you ain't got to have the money necessarily. But if you got land, if you got ideas as Bahamians and family groups or community groups, and you're willing to come together and work together as a team come together, man. Form a cooperative, if only a community cooperative, if not a company, and go out there, put a business plan together, hire somebody in your community or other community to draft a business plan for that community idea or that family idea. Work together, because the easiest thing to get in the world, Michelle, when it comes to businesses, is money. That may sound contrary, but that's something I found out over the years. The hardest thing to do is to come up with a winning business plan, because no investor is going to put any money into anything if there's not a good, sound business plan that they can see. So at the end of the day, Michelle, in this country, Nassau, Andros, Abaco, Eleuthera, Exuma, Mayaguana, Inagua, Crooked Island, anywhere, Cat Island, Exuma, you name it. We Bahamians have proven ourselves over the years to be industrious, and we can accomplish more, Michelle, and we can get back together again as a people to be proud of us. But the key thing in terms of our success, we must get God and His principles back in the mindset of this country.
All right. Well, JT, I gave you a long time.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Gotta let you go. Thanks so much for calling. All right. We have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue with our open line show. And hopefully we'll hear from more of you. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, fix, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Weston, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients. so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS. Make sure you go and check out Byron and those on Junkanoo Beach at the Tiki Bikini Hut. Let them know that you heard about them on GPS, and you'll get yourself a nice little reward. The food there is absolutely fantastic. They got some really nice cold drinks, so you can get all kinds of different natural fruit flavors of lemonade and the frozen drinks and the whole works. And the food there, you have a lot of really great options available to you, so you can go there and get something delicious and let them know that you heard about them on GPS, and they will reward you nicely for it. The telephone numbers to call if you're tuning in today: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271 to call or text us. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 Facebook pages, as well as on our YouTube channels. And you can also check us out on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. Today is TGIF Open Line show where we talk about the week that was. Now, this is breaking news, just happened. Kudos to 4 Bahamian young ladies who are competing at the pen relays, who just won the gold in the 4x1 girls. That team, hailing from QC, made up of Jemiah Nabi, well, we all know that name from Garifta, Kaylee Davis, Rashay Pantry, and Nia Richards. They won gold for the country at the pen relays now underway. Congratulations, ladies. Way to go. All right. Now, also in sports, yesterday was a sad day for boxing here in the Bahamas. Don't know if you are aware, but one of our legends passed away yesterday. I'm speaking of Ray Minas Jr., who was a Bahamian boxing legend, champion not just here in the Bahamas, but held many international titles. He passed away yesterday. Ray Minas Jr. fought in 4 different weight classes, won 2 Bahamian titles, 3 World Boxing Council titles, a WBO title, an IBF, and a WBA title. And his win-loss record was 37 wins with 27 knockouts and 9 losses. So we lost a treasure yesterday in the person of Ray Minas Jr. I remember having an opportunity to interview Ray on a couple of occasions when I was a young reporter back in the day at ZNS, and he was in his heyday, winning all those belts, Commonwealth champion, and all the other things that he accomplished. Really very nice, humble young man. Never thought, to be arrogant, even though he was incredibly gifted and could back it up in the ring. He was always a very humble person, and a great example for young boxers in the country about how you should conduct yourself. So, my condolences to his family, friends, loved ones, and the boxing community here in the Bahamas on the loss of Ray Minas Jr. May his soul rest in peace. All right, so in our first segment, we talked about the Prime Minister's thoughts on the criminal mindset. How do you deal with the criminal mindset? You start from when these young people are at risk and, facing so much trauma in their early lives. If we could find a way to fix that problem, then it could diminish, I think he was trying to say, the levels of crime in the country. Because these young people who are committing these crimes, they weren't born that way. They were born innocent, like every child that is born into this world, innocent. But people are taught to hate. People are taught to not respect their life or anybody else's life. That's a learned behavior. So the question again isn't what is wrong with you, but what happened to you. And if we can, as a society, spend more time fixing the problem before it becomes a problem, as opposed to reacting to it after it does, then maybe, just maybe, we could put a dent in this thing. So, Minister of Social Services Obi Welchcombe was in the news this past week talking about his views on a domestic violence bill, because domestic violence, where children are in the home watching their parents beat up on each other, or, all the horrific things that happen within the home, often that is where these seeds are planted that lead to the harvest of what we're experiencing today. So here's what the minister had to say with regard to the domestic violence bill that is being brought before the House of Assembly.
We are 98% completed. We have one or two matters to look into today and over the next week or so. And so very soon we'll have the domestic violence bill placed on the table of the House. It might not be that name, but that's what it is. The marital rape bill is a distance away, and that's why it's always ensure we're talking about two separate bills. But the domestic bill, we're very pleased about it. I think it's very progressive. It's going to assist in the matters that you just raised earlier, reference to abuse. But we're going to make sure that it's put in play. And once it's introduced, we want to roll it out in a way in which all the pieces are in place simultaneously.
So that was Minister Obi Welchcombe being interviewed by members of the media outside the House of Assembly. So that background noise you heard would have been because of that, of the location where the interview was done. So we would have heard from him in that clip that the domestic violence bill is just about done, will be brought before the House of Assembly, not to be confused with the debate that is raging with regard to a marital rape, where there's need for a change in existing laws to accommodate what some are calling marital rape. He made it very clear that that is not to be confused with the domestic violence bill, and that the domestic violence bill is taking more priority at this time in this particular government agenda. What are your thoughts? Are you satisfied with that? Do you think that equal amount of time and energy and money should be put into a marital rape bill? Do you think that, as some have argued, that that's just an agenda, that it is being pushed to destroy marriages? I'd love to hear from you on that. I know that it was announced that $500,000 has been set aside for an emergency shelter for women, and that too has drawn some criticism, because the argument is that that's not enough. And whereas the government could spend millions on travel, for instance, and only set aside $500,000 for an emergency shelter for women and children, where do your priorities lie? That's the question that's being asked. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS. Good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Yes, I want to touch on the same issue that you brought up in
Mhm.
to the safe house or the shelter for women or abused persons.
Mhm.
I don't know how to describe how I feel about it. Right now, I am annoyed, a bit
Mhm.
annoyed,
Mhm.
because by now I think, and I heard the minister's somewhat explanation as to what is being done in reference to that.
Mhm.
After we with all of the incidents that we have had with young women, with women, and that's just what's in the news, right?
Mhm.
And all of these women, some deceased, those victims were mothers, okay,
Right.
with young children. And I just saw the other day where one of them who passed us, the grandmother was on the news, you know, asking for assistance for the toddler, for the baby. It's not even quite a toddler yet, you know, whose mother was murdered, and the father is there, deceased as well. But my thing is, certain things, and governments have a way of when they are elected in office, right? They tend, I guess you have to have the planning stage. You have to deal with your budgets and all of this good stuff, and then and it seems that they wait until the last 2 years before you actually see things coming from out of the ground.
Mhm.
They have these openings and all these ribbon cuttings or whatever. Mr. Monroe, I think he was quite. I think he was very. I liked his presentation.
Mhm.
He covered a lot of the ground, and it gave us a lot of food for thought.
Right.
And he went into the reasoning why they are building this. I think it's $30 million prison or rehabilitation center for the prisoners. And I think you need a holistic approach. I think you need to have proper rehabilitation in that place with counselors and everything else for those persons.
Yeah.
So that when they do come out, they are coming back in society, and
Yeah.
they have to be able to adjust.
I agree.
However, while you're dealing with that, you still have victims out here.
Mhm.
Why? I mean, see, you can't say, okay, he's saying there's $500 is there, and they're waiting, and because you need this, you need that. You're going to spend $30 million on a prison, right?
Mhm.
But you have $500, $100,000 set aside for this space, for the shelter.
Mhm.
Look, just picture it in your mind. It on the scale, put it on the scale. You're talking about women. You're talking about children. You're talking about adequate shelter. And when I think about that, I'm thinking about a facility that is going to accommodate these persons in need, along with their children. A facility where they're going to have proper security, proper counseling, proper job, preparation,
Training. Yeah.
the whole gamut,
Mhm.
and a place for their children can get safe. You understand?
Mhm.
And a facility that is large enough that they can really call it a home away from home, so that and they're not to leave there until they're prepared to actually go out into back out there. You understand, and be able to train to work. Get a job placement. That's the word I want to use.
Right.
You understand?
Mhm.
That's what I want to see. And no way is $500,000 going to be able to cover that cost. We have in that same rehabilitation that they're going to just planning on spending this $30 million for. We have young men on top of one another as we speak. They may be listening to your show. They're sitting in there twiddling their thumbs, trading secrets, talking about what they're going to do when they get out, trying to get out, to get a case, whatever they're doing up there. Why can't they use these men on a piece of our crown land? Identify the property. We have so much land. It's as if sometimes I feel as if we hold on to these properties to entice investors,
Mhm.
foreign outsiders to come in here and do these sign these deals, and they do whatever they wish with it. So why can't the investment be, number one, the land no problem, because we have that's ours, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not you take it off the table. The planning, drawing the plans and doing the whole planning or whatever you have to do as far as with that, the building, the facility, boom, right? So, I am tired because in the meantime, while they're doing this, women are being put out of the safe houses that they pay. And Michelle, I think Mr. Bushcombe said that they are spending $2 to $3 million to pay for rent
Mm-hmm.
to these places all over the country.
I think he said 2 million.
2 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can that money be applied to this whole? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That money could be going into this place where these women are, because after a certain amount of time they put them out on the streets. So I'm with nothing, with the children on their arms, young babies. So I am frustrated with that myself. I want to see at least come and say, well, hey, we're going to break ground. We have identified the property, the land, which we're going to build this facility. That's what I want to see. I don't want to hear, time for talk is over. In this particular case, there's a crisis now. There's a rush to deal with this prison.
Mm-hmm.
There should be as much passion and as much push. And from what I see with Mr. Milchcombe, he's saying what he thinks. I guess he's giving us what he has, but that's not enough. We need more. We want to see more, because in the meantime, while they're planning and while they're holding on to this $500,000, looking for, I don't know what they're looking for, on. We need to see something to give these, because this is what gives the parents, this is what gives children, young people, these children, hope. It gives them something to look forward to,
Mm-hmm.
that they're going to be safe, they're going to be taken care of, and their mothers, their fathers who need the help are going to be helped, assisted. So, what they say, don't give me the fish, teach me how to fish.
Right.
All of this can be done, and this is what I really, really, because from it started happening with all the domestic abuse and all of these things happening to especially young girls, and Candy Foam Gibson, she's and thank God for her. You understand the passion, and you see these things. I'm telling you, unless I guess you live these things,
Mm-hmm.
you can't appreciate it. But this is what the government needs to do, because they have the control, they have the purse strings, they have to sign up the prime minister with the crown land. I at least identified, and we're going into 50 years of independence, and we are truly not independent. You understand, when you look at the situation after all these years, Michelle, you mean to tell me they're just dealing with that bill? And it's not completed yet? You see, and then people wonder why you have so many broken men
Mm.
in that Foxville prison who have demons, with and the demons are allowed the demonic spirit to get into their souls, that they don't care about living or dying or anything anymore. These once children who probably watch their mothers and grandmothers or what aunts.
Some of them may have themselves been violated.
And being violated, so they don't have anything to live for. They're walking. It's like the Walking Dead, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to, like the Prime Minister said, celebrate to me. We have to
Recalibrate.
Recalibrate, right? That thing runs so deep. You have to do this thing holistically. You understand, and it starts from there. But in the meantime, what they have the power to do, they must go ahead. Let's not talk about. Let's be about it, man, and identify that shelter. I am going to agitate until the breath leaves my body. That these people, they are hurting. They need help, and that's why you see these children around here turn into bitter, angry, brutal men and women as well, because they see the suffering, and it's a revolving door. How many fathers, sons, and grandsons in that Foxville prison? The cycle continues, and we have to break that cycle. And that's what I want to say. But everybody, Michelle, you'll have a safe and blessed weekend. Okay.
Thank you so much for calling. Exactly what you're talking about is what one of the things that the Minister of National Security dealt with while he was speaking to members of the media yesterday at the press briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister. And he was talking about the various components that lead to the criminality, the level of criminality that we see. One of them, obviously, being the backlog of cases within the court system, which is what has been used as the justification for granting persons bail again and again and again for very serious crimes like murder. Um, and he did address some of what you spoke about just now, Carl. So let's go to this clip and hear from the Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe. Again, this is an excerpt from his presentation yesterday during the press briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister.
The next prong is the trial process. So we try to prevent you committing a crime. If you don't, we have to apprehend you and deliver you for judgment. We acknowledge that there is an issue with the trial process. A lot of what was being implemented in terms of swift justice in the last Christie Davis administration, there was some stalling and walking back on it. We have to be very clear about the need for there to be justice on a timely basis. As the Chief Justice has indicated, he and I have talked and we have agreed that there should be a task force to identify and address this issue. In his most recent remarks, you would have heard some of the suggestions he is putting. In the symposium in Trinidad, the CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice, indicated that they are having a seminar in October where regionally we can look at best practices to speed up the justice system. And for your edification, I would say this. When we were in Trinidad, Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who a lot of people think is very good, indicates that they're looking at getting rid of preliminary inquiries because it delays the matter in the magistrate's court. Prime Minister Davis was able to tell them, we got rid of preliminary inquiries more than a decade ago, but it creates another issue. So this regional intercourse helps us in identifying what will work. We have some ideas as to what will work. We have some commitments already. We have commitments to speed up matters involving firearms. There is this cry for a gun court. People don't really understand what a gun court in the Jamaican context means. A magistrate can hear any matter assigned to him or her. The key is, in our view, for you to go from arraignment to trial in under 6 weeks to completion. And that is best accomplished when you have two courts hearing matters. And it will require work, but we have a commitment for it. The matters in the Supreme Court are more serious. It is troubling that somebody could be on bail for 6 murders. Not because they could be on bail, you know, but because they could have 6 cases and not a one of them come for trial yet. We have to address that, and the Chief Justice has the will, and we will be cooperative in addressing that. There will be no knee-jerk responses. There is no magic pill. There is no magic wand to wave over the problem. We must be systematic in addressing it if we're going to get results. After detection, arrest, and disruption and trial, the person now is convicted. That is not the end of it, as you would have heard. That person will go into the correctional institution, and 98% of more of them will come back out. That is is the fact. And persons will be sentenced to the correctional institution for things less than murder, and they will come back out. I've gone on record as saying in my time in practice, I have seen young men go to prison for little things. And we had a joke when I came back from England. The bus that used to take you to prison was a yellow school bus, and we used to call it the free ride at 5, for those who know what that is about connoting. And we always sat and said, there's another crew of students being transported up to the prison. And indeed, if you look at everyone who is now leading a major gang, as a young man, they went to prison for something very simple.
So bottom line is we need definite prison reform. I know a lot of people say, listen, our tax, but money going to pay for their 3 meals and all this kind of stuff. And why should they be, getting a free ride and living in comfort and all this kind of stuff? But I keep telling y'all people, they got to come back out. And if you treat them like animals while they're in there, and they go in there and they get trained on how to be even worse than they were when they went in, God help us all when they get out. There are some countries, particularly in Europe, that have taken this from a completely different approach, where their jails are almost like, these fellas living in their own apartment for all intents and purposes, although movement confined. But the thing is, by the time they are done with them, they truly have been rehabilitated. They come out with more of a mindset of a productive citizen than an even angrier predator. And maybe this is something we need to consider, because what we're doing now ain't working. That ain't working. If you tell me you don't want to do that, but keep them locked up forever, that ain't happening. And if they got to come back in the society you living in, it benefits you to make sure that they come back out better and not bitter. Music playing. Got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue with this open line show. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after...
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, True Form, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5. Michelle Malcolm and your company streaming live on Facebook on the official Global 99.5 and Michelle Malcolm pages. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show. The telephone numbers to call in 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for calls and messages, text messages, is 8010271. 8010271. That's the WhatsApp line. And you can find us on YouTube as well as airing on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. It's an open line show today. Every Friday, this is what we do. We call it the TGIF Open Line Show, where we get to talk about the week that was or anything else that you would like to talk about. All right, so let's see, where do we go from here? Also in the news this week, I pulled several clips. I'm just trying to decide which one to go to next. Okay, so let's talk about this RCI situation on Paradise Island. Those of you who are familiar with what's happening there, you know, Toby Smith has been advocating for many years now to gain access to a piece of crown land on Paradise Island to fulfill a dream that he's had about a attraction there, and many of us became aware of his plight under the Free National Movement time in office under the administration of Hewitt Minnis. Toby alleging that they signed a contract with him, or at least had a contract with him, to grant permission, and then they turned around and decided not to go with that contract because RCI put a deal on the table that they liked more. So that's in the news. But we have a call on WhatsApp. Let's go to the call first, and then we will talk more about RCI. Caller, welcome to the show. Hi. Can you hear them on? Wait, just 1 second, caller. 1 second, caller. Are we hearing them on air? Okay, go ahead now. We're ready. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about the gun situation.
Uh-huh.
It's one thing to say that you apprehend a person with a gun and you take them to prison, and they go to prison, and they come out, they're rehabilitated, and then they come out and just wait for it. Rich is already overloaded, and that person's going to come out and still not be able to take care of their family. I think, this is just my opinion, what this country needs to do, and I'm from the Bahamas, but I moved to the United States 30 years ago. They need to come up now with a gun penalty. And the penalty, if you have a gun, your intentions with that gun is not to go out and protect somebody. Your intentions is to harm somebody. We got to stop playing with these guys or here with these guns and punish them properly to send a message. If you got a gun, you're going to prison for the rest of your life, whether you use it or not. If you shoot somebody, you get the death penalty. If you kill somebody, you get the death penalty. Stop playing. Give them an amnesty week. You got a week to turn in these guns. You turn in your gun, no questions asked, you walk away. If after that week we catch you with a gun, that's it. Mind you, stop this now. 10 years from now, we can be a little Haiti. Stop it now. I'm telling you.
So, Carla.
These guns are really under control in this country. When I left it 30 years ago, it was no such thing as nobody with a gun. Now I come here and every other weekend, my brothers are telling me, let's listen to how many people got killed over the weekend. Really? That's what people are doing now? Listening to how many people died over the weekend in the Bahamas?
So,
other countries are watching this, and the tourism industry, they're watching this. It's going to get to a point where the tourists are going to stop wanting to come to this country. And what are we going to be then? That's just my opinion.
Before you go, Carla, I want to ask you a question. Stiffer penalties for the young fellas who are caught with guns. What do you think should happen to the persons who are bringing them into the country?
If they're caught with a gun?
No, the persons who are trafficking these guns, the people who are bringing them into the country. Because I am suggesting.
That's it. That's national security. We're getting rid of you forever if you bring a gun into this country. That's it. And I don't care if it's my brother, my sister, my mother. You're trying to destroy the Bahamas when you bring these guns in this country. Stop them now. That's what they need to do. Stop it now.
Okay.
I'm going to hang up and keep listening to you. Every time I come to the house, I listen to your show. Beautiful show.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, then.
The caller is not alone in their thoughts. I've heard people lately, because of frustration more than anything else, arguing that all rapists should be castrated. You ain't know what to do with it, but you can cut it off. And the argument has been, if you go to some of these countries that we like to uphold, where there's virtually little crime, it's because they have taken archaic measures to combat crime. So if you come and you bring drugs into this country, look at Brittany Griner, what happened to her. If you bring drugs into this country, you facing life in jail. That's the law. No ifs, ands about it. And it don't have to be bales and bales and bales or kilos and kilos and kilos. You come with one marijuana cigarette. You get caught with one marijuana cigarette, and you're going up for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that this is where we should come. Just saying that this is the level of frustration some people are at. And they believe that we should start to take some draconian measures so that people will take the law seriously. Because right now, many people believe that our laws have no teeth. So if I know I could kill you and get off on bail and go out and kill somebody else and go before the courts and get off on bail and go and kill somebody else, why I can stop? One young man the other day was charged with 6 on bail for 6 murders. Utter madness. But is that the answer? Do we take draconian measures to stem this tide? Will it work? And then where do we draw the line when it comes to the draconian measures? Immediately my mind goes to those Middle Eastern countries where it's against the law for women to expose any area of their bodies other than their eyes. And I suppose the only reason that they ain't covering their eyes is because they got to see to walk and do everything else. But women have literally lost their lives for showing their arm accidentally or not covering their hair properly because of these draconian measures. So where do we draw the line? Where does it where do we determine, okay, we're going to apply that when it comes to these crimes, rape, murder, drugs, whatever you want to say? Do we have to put some kind of safety net in place to make sure that we don't cross a line where it comes to what we decide should be outlawed or not? I'm just saying, what do we do to protect ourselves from becoming one of those states where people's rights are seriously hindered because we've decided to become draconian in our measures to try to stamp out crime? And is it that taking that approach is only looking at the end domino, the very last domino? Y'all often hear me talk about this on my Wellness Wednesday shows, how when it comes to disease, that last symptom that you have that took you to the doctor, that they decided to put you on some kind of medication, that was just the last domino to fall in a series of a whole lot of dominoes that were knocking each other down. So do we only focus on that last domino, the criminal act, or do we not try to make some effort to get to ground zero and stop the cascading of the dominoes before the first one falls? Because I dare say if we only focus on the last one and we don't address all the ones that knock it down to get to that point, we will never solve this problem. So I say all of that to say that this is a multifaceted, multi-layered problem. This is not an easy fix. Yes, we have to start somewhere. And you may or may not argue that stiffer penalties enforced, because we got penalties on the law books, they're just not being enforced. So you may argue that stiffer penalties will serve as a deterrent, even though some statistics or some research shows that that's not the case. But let's say that you buy that argument. Well, that's only one layer. We have to look at all the other layers. Social reform. How do we get people to improve the environment that these children are growing up in? How do we get more fathers to stay within the homes of the children that they fathered, that they helped to bring into this world, as opposed to abandoning that responsibility to some of these women who just, I don't care how strong a woman you are, you can't teach a boy to be a man because you are coming from a perspective of a woman. You could teach him how to be a good person, a productive citizen, but if you aren't a man, then how can you teach someone else to be one? That's just my personal view. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Mr. Malcolm,
Mm-hmm.
I think we need, we want to see the family island grow with population of people. We need to spread out like government buildings, office, and things like that. That everyone at Crom Jam, right in Nassau, New Providence.
Overpopulated.
We need to spread out. That might be what they're doing with the prison. Man, we need somebody with vision how to take that, send that on Little Nagua or Andres, the boys and girls' homes, put them on Andres. That everything is spread out. Everything is ready enough. So we need to move. Right now, you get like an Acklands must be on the 500, in Inagua on the 900. It's marijuana, maybe 300. We need to spread out, and this is the reason why we see all these things. We need to spread out, move some government agency, spread them out, that people will go, that you can have work and stuff like that. But everybody just come in, they do the same thing, and everybody is breathing in one another's face and stuff like that. But I really would like to see our leaders, whether it be in the church, government, the character is very low. It's very low.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why we're seeing the younger people now, they don't even go to church. Because when they find out some of the pastors doing this, why go to church? Why go?
Yeah.
When they supposed to be telling us what to do, they are doing the same thing what they know not supposed to do. When we have leaders supposed to be running the country, they doing something else. No, so we need people with character, and that is the reason why you find out so many people don't want to come inside politics, because why? The character is low, and now who we picking to go in there, they ain't got no character. So when we see, we deserve what we get. We deserve these things. Okay?
Mm.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. I just think people, if you want to see more character in politics and you're a person with character, then maybe you should consider becoming involved. We can't sit back and say, oh, we need people with better character. But if you're a person with better character, you don't want to get involved, then how do we get people with better character in there if all of the people with the good character have decided they don't want to be a part of it? And as for the thing with the church, let me just say this. Not all churches are bad. Not all churches are led by people who like another talk show would say, another talk show host would say, that man is safe. Because we got some preachers who ain't safe. I'm sorry to say it. Some of them in the pulpit ain't safe. But if you find yourself attending one of those churches, just find a church where there is someone who is doing their best to live a godly life. Because there are some out there. Not all of them in there setting poor examples. But I know one thing. No matter what church you go to or don't go to, when you die and go before your maker, you got to answer God for yourself. So I don't buy the argument of, oh, well, I can't live a Christian life because the so-called Christians aren't a good example. And I'm not giving an excuse to anybody who calls himself a believer to not be the example that they, should be. But I'm just saying to people, don't allow that to stop you from seeking after God, because when you die and go before your maker, he ain't gonna ask you about anybody else's life. He ain't gonna ask you to give an account for nobody else's life but yours. So I think it's a very lame excuse for people to say, oh, why should I be a Christian when these Christians living like that? Because you're going to have to answer for yourself. You can't answer for nobody else. You have to answer for yourself. So don't think you can be able to use that as no excuse as to why you didn't live the Christian life that you expect everybody else to live. I know that we're all human. We all make mistakes. We're all human. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, Michelle. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Okay. I always enjoy your show. So every now and then I call in. You're my schoolmate.
Okay.
So I take pleasure in listening.
Who is this guy talking to?
I can tell you right now. I remember when you was at ZNF, I stopped to let you cross the street. You were walking across center. Was that near Sixth Terrace, up in that area. You had on one white pants and one white jacket. and I toot, but you didn't know who it was. I should have stopped and let you know who I was. But anyway.
Well, you realize I left Nest in 2005.
Oh,
that's almost 20 years ago. So
that was from then I saw you.
Wow.
I had seen you since, and I heard about you when you were in Bimini.
Yeah.
And I listened to you when you were at the Guardian, and listen to you now. So I you know, you're always proud of your schoolmates.
All right, schoolmate. Who wishes to remain anonymous?
Say, right? Every now and then I call it, but what I wanted to say was, I really don't envy the job of the government. I think what the Prime Minister is trying to do, I don't know if you remember one time he said, rising tide floats all boats.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way I grew up, we had a lot of sayings, even on the island. You had sayings like small leak sink big ship, meaning if you have a bill, if you chip at it, if you're saving for something, if you put a little aside, eventually you're going to have what you need.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he's trying to do, there are so many issues where they came into power. Why I don't envy them, because I realize they're being whipped with all the sins of the past, everything that wasn't done. And he's trying to keep everybody happy on every island.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a little here, a little there, because he's trying, like they say, rising tide floats all boats.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in Nassau, they paved a few roads, and they're still doing road works. But then they got to focus also on the 100 miles of road that they're paving in Andros. And they're doing other pavings in Exuma, Daniel Lutra, in Cat Island. And I think they repaved the airport in Naguana. They got to build a new domestic terminal there. They got to do work in extending the runway in on Moores Island. They're putting down tracks. I know Moores Island had a track from Prime Minister Christie was in power, but you know, every time government changed, that's sort of priority for the next government.
Right.
That sat the container for the whole term, almost 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just now dealing with that, trying to do some other stuff. It's just trying to touch everywhere. And at the same time, you got people that are unemployed, so now you got to bring in investors, and you're trying to make everything work. And I think what Mr. Smith should have done was took the advice the Prime Minister gave him. The Prime Minister told him about his project for Violet Island. Come and see me, reapply. There was a reason for that. But I don't think he understands the reason for it. Mm-hmm. And as for the project there now at RCI, the government worked that so Bahamians could have ownership in it, right down to all the businesses. And there's Bahamians now starting to invest. People that had the money that are Bahamians were not investing in their own country. And that's a negative for this country. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to jump all over the place. This is the last thing I'm going to say. The 500,000 for the only center is not the end of it. That's to get it started.
Mm-hmm.
It's more coming, and I was listening, and I think I forgot which one of them, which minister or someone spoke concerning it, but that's just the beginning. I don't know if you like they just announced the hospital is going to begin in Grand Bahama. They're going to build that, but it's 2 phases because the money won't be there for the whole thing. So you got to touch here, touch there, and keep everybody happy. But thanks for taking my call. One of these days I can call, I can tell you who this is.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for calling. Yeah, I hear you, but I still think even if it's just a beginning, it could have been more. I heard Clint Watson responding to members of the media who questioned that figure, and he said something to the effect that, they once the project gets to a particular stage, they will be seeking private partnerships as well, and hopefully at that time they'll be able to raise more money towards the project. Talking about the homeless shelter, not homeless, but the emergency shelter. I don't know, because again, millions of dollars are spent on many things, like a travel budget, for instance. Millions of dollars. And I don't know. I just think that more could have been set aside for something so vital as to protect women and children at risk. Um, I think that's the argument that many people have. Now, music playing, but on the other side of the break, let's talk about this RCI situation a little bit, because RCI is now debunking some of the concerns that have been raised, and we hear the environmentalists responding to their debunking. So we're going to talk about all that on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
This is Global Radio 99.5.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this TGIF Open Line show. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. And of course, you can like and share the show on Facebook, where we are streaming live to my official page as well as the official page of the radio station, Global 99.5. And we're also streaming live on our official YouTube channels. And finally, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. All right. So, love to hear from you guys. All right. RCI has been in the news quite a bit lately when I guess they decided to be proactive, and their executive was making the rounds in the media trying to explain their position. And so they made public their, I guess, environmental assessment. And here is a report now on their efforts to debunk some of the concerns that have been expressed by the environmentalists and others as it relates to their project on Paradise Island.
Royal Caribbean International shoring up its commitment that it will add to the Bahamian product as opposed to detracting from it. We're talking about the multi-million-dollar Paradise Island Beach Club that the company proposes to build on a parcel of land on Paradise Island. Atlantis and environmentalists have slammed the idea for a number of reasons, but RCI's Jay Snyder says the cruise liner has debunked those reasons on every occasion.
Initially, it was that we were going to pull people off of Bay Street downtown and other attractions. Once we shared our economic messaging that less than 40% of our guests on an annual basis can actually visit the beach club, that kind of went away.
And then there were assertions made that the private beach club would saturate a tiny parcel of land with some 8,000 passengers daily.
If we look at kind of our annual participation per day, it's in a range of 2,500 to 2,750, maybe as high as 3,000 at a maximum per day. That would be on the beach club. When you take that by 17 acres and we look at the vast majority of that site is previously human altered, in disrepair, frankly unsafe in some cases. It's a concern I don't agree with.
Questions about proper waste management emerged as well. RCI says they've got that handled.
We're zero waste to landfill, 100% green energy, so that we're not using basically diesel or heavy fuel by 2030. And that includes getting to net zero carbon. A world-class, as I already described, waste management facility to handle 100% of the waste that's created. Protecting the habitat, we've committed to not dredging, we've committed to no overwater cabanas, which has been a concern of theirs. And then local environmental monitoring on an ongoing basis.
And that local environmental monitoring will be preceded by a very strict protocol, which the Tourism Minister Chester Cooper says will be enough to ensure that the development is no threat to the country's environment.
If these guidelines and protocols were good enough for the billion-dollar investments of Atlantis and Bahama, and they worked, I'm confident they will work for the $100 million investment of RCI. And the professionalism and expertise of DEP will continue to prevail.
DEP is the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection, which is tasked with ensuring that developments in country abide by very strict environmentally friendly standards.
So the environmentalists are responding to RCI's efforts to be more, what's the word I'm looking for, to be more transparent in terms of what they plan to do. So while some environmentalists say they are a little bit more comfortable knowing seeing the environmental impact information that has been publicized, they are still skeptical in some regards. Here now is that clip.
I'm encouraged that they have actually responded. You know, the objective in advocacy isn't to be at war with the developer. You know, we understand our country needs development, so we still are calling for you to put on the table out there for every Bahamian to be able to see what exactly you're planning. We also are still calling for an open and transparent process.
President and CEO of One Consultants, Eric Carey, says environmentalists are encouraged after Royal Caribbean International released an outline of their environmental plans for the Royal Beach Club at Paradise Island. The release highlights 6 cornerstones: zero waste to landfill, a goal to be on 100% renewable energy within the decade, state-of-the-art wastewater management where some will be reused for landscaping, a commitment to not dredge or build overwater cabanas, protecting the island's habitat, and local environmental monitoring. But Carey says he's still skeptical after seeing the transformation of what is now Coco Key.
You completely transformed that. I mean, you took that from Paradise. I mean, like you say, you've literally paved Paradise and put up the parking lot concept, you know. And why should we have any confidence that you're going to come into this other area, which is similarly small and sensitive, and how are we going to be convinced that your record does not speak for itself?
And while Carey is encouraged that RCI has promised the gold standard in environmental handling of the project, Carey's concerned that it might still be too much for the delicate area.
I don't think that it can sustain the pressure. Even if you went for the gold standard that you say you're going to do, that gold standard is still going to be applied to a transformed and desecrated and decimated site.
All right. I understand that RCI is saying that there is room for Toby to still have his development there, and they can both coexist. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Miss Malcolm.
Hi.
Poppy here, and good day to your listeners, Miss Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
It's sounding like what the Deputy Prime Minister said just now, like what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Like, I wonder if, I know this Eric Carey managed to be a part of Bahamas National Trust.
Yes.
All of Bahama and Atlantis them would have had some kind of okay from Eric Carey and National Trust, the Bahamas National Trust in the past, right?
I would, if not him personally, the trust.
I mean, you've heard it for many
other
years.
environmental agencies, yes.
Yeah, and with the other environmental agencies. And I guess they're the same people who speaking out now against this project. So that was a smart move or a very smart thing to say. And it's a serious thing a serious factual information or evidence to show that if it was good then, I don't know why it wouldn't be good now unless things change or we find out from when we do Bahama and Atlantis that we went about it the wrong way. Maybe if the environmentalists could prove that, then they might have a point. But for so far right now, the Deputy Prime Minister get a point. If it was good then, it should be good now.
Mm.
But I still for Toby Smith having his way, having his thing, but it sounds like the Deputy Prime Minister them saying, say, what they talking about with RCI or RCL ain't nothing to do with what Toby trying to get, eh? But it can conflict in somehow, Miss Malcolm, you think?
Well, I guess Toby's concern, and he has done this show before, is that, such a larger scale development right on his doorstep would take away from his experience.
It sounds like Atlantis saying something like that, too. That's why they tell the boy to speak up. I really didn't want to talk about that. I talk about it because that's the tape you find. I just wonder if you can come across any other tape, or maybe next week if it ain't too late. What about what Michael Pentadem being talking about with my New Day government breaking the law and amending this thing with the central bank where they must either draw down some money, where the Prime Minister had to tell them that they could easily find out some information if they'd have gone about it the right way. You ain't get that tape, eh?
No, I didn't pull that for today.
Okay, what about this one? Where the former Prime Minister mentioned this week, either I think it was Monday or Wednesday, asking the question to the Minister of because I hear you play a lot of his tape, the Minister of National Security, and I sure he must get more to play too. But he's asking the question, Hubert Minister, I know I run on, right? But sometimes we don't want to hear the messenger, but we need to listen to the message. He asked the question. How much guns was issued he said to PLP supporters, ex-gang bangers, ex-persons who already spent time in jail for murder and either drugs or guns. He asked a question. He asked what type of guns they have. I thought he's going to ask some more question like, what is the statistic in the past when the commission do issue guns to persons, business people or whosoever in the country? Do they follow up? Do they have a report or statistic or like information to say, well, that gun was issued to that person end up killing someone because the person was either defending their life or the gun gone missing? Do they follow? I know you might know, but they're the questions what I thought the former Prime Minister would have asked with them. But what you think about that? You think he's trying to cause mischief? You think that's a question we need to think about? We talk about too much guns being on the road. Then some are saying that they should let all us have guns, business people, law-abiding citizens, to protect them and their business and their family. How you feel about what former Prime Minister say about these former persons who was locked up for murder before and call them PLP supporters? I mean, I was a supporter of PLP, but I didn't get none.
Yeah, my only question that is, would the same question be applicable to him when he was in power? As it relates to
gangbangers and person who was locked up for murder and stuff?
As it relates to whether or not I believe everybody should be toting guns.
That's the point. That's the question, because two wrongs don't make a right.
You know, we got to be so careful because we look at what is happening in America now where it's in their constitution the right to bear arms. And when I tell you they believe in that, they believe in that.
We believe in it too. But
and whenever you see there is some kind of mass shooting, and don't mind you only hear about 1 or 2 or 3 every year. Every year in the United States, there are more than 600 mass shootings. Many of them just never make it to the mainstream news. 600, and they term a mass shooting where 4 or more people are shot at a particular event. So every year in the United States, there are more than 600 mass shootings. Now, the gun lobbyists would argue that guns don't kill people, people kill people using guns.
Yes.
And we need to this is their argument, we need to put more emphasis on mental health,
yes,
et cetera, et cetera. Well, if we use that same argument here in the Bahamas, you sure you want anybody around here toting gun? Because this is such an angry society in which we live. You sitting on the red light, and if that turned green in a split second, you ain't move, they blowing you down like you've been sitting on the light for 3 hours. We are living in a very angry society.
I agree with you.
You won't put guns in the hands of all these people?
I think, let me answer your question. I think if the people don't want a law-abiding citizen and they think they need it, just the kind of politicians think they need it, or whosoever these PLP supporters who think they need it, who it might have been issued to, it should be issued to them and follow the rules with restrictions and all kind of stuff. And you ask the question, listen, you rather go down fighting or you rather get snuffed out like a sheep? Because that's what they do, and they're killing innocent people.
I don't want to get snuffed out, but I don't want to go down either.
No, nobody wants to, but at least you could have a fighting chance with a legal gun, not illegal.
No, I understand what you're saying.
So they need to consider that.
But why is that argument not working in the United States?
But in the meantime, people have a problem, and you call it not working. Them people who agree with it, it's working for them, because why? They say they feel safer. The police can't be everywhere.
They may feel safer, but there are over 600 mass shootings in the United States every year. Over 600.
Well, in the meantime, we have it illegal in the Bahamas here, and we still have a lot of murders. We get a lot of punks with guns killing people and killing people's family. Huh?
Agreed.
Yeah, so we got to do something about it. You can't get them to turn the guns in. You got to deal, like you say, the people who bring in the guns, and we need to make an example of them, because these people who getting catch with the guns and getting charged and getting sent to jail, they are part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be more serious. I think if we follow the trail of money.
There you go.
If we follow the trail of money.
Because you would be surprised to know who's bringing these guns in this country.
Agree. I don't want to use a broad brush, right? But sometimes I feel like this is a gangster society. Not all of us, It's just too much of us not benefit us. How do you say it? Live on crime pays for them. Not just the lawyers who go to court and charge the people and get case and either get bail for them and make all kind of money, send their children to private school. Not just them. There's a lot of people them playing, you know, and the lawmakers, they ain't doing enough. We could do more. I see we get a lot of cars and trucks and all that stuff. And they, you know what helped the Bahamas, and we've been talking about it a long time?
What?
A nice helicopter. I don't know, they make it sound like it costs all the money in the world, but I say, man, we could borrow one, we could get, you know.
And we pay $7 million for drones. Where them drones gone?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, too. And the drones could help out. You know, one of the things that I hear you say, I don't know what you first said, or you older than me, so you might have been saying it a long time. That was one of the things you carry me back at least over 10 years when you say, if you treat them people like animals, I use a different word. I say like dogs. They can come back out here carrying on like dogs. The second one have to come here, so you can't treat them. But I mean, and don't give them an apartment, don't do all of that. But you know, let them know they're being punished, especially if they're killing people's family or jail. I ain't come off because I just run on too long. Keep up the good work, Miss Malcolm.
Thanks for calling, Papa. Have a good weekend. Be safe. I don't know about this whole thing about everybody carrying arms. I don't think I'll come with my house. You got some. Just the way people drive on this island. I mean, it's like people have lost their minds. Somebody nearly ran into me today. I drive it on East Bay Street. And I'm in the right lane. They in the left lane. They can cut across my vehicle. No warning. So that they could cut into the exit of what is the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza. Not the entrance now. So clearly, I don't expect you to be in the left lane to cut in front of me to enter an exit. But this the stupidness what people doing out there. Thank God I was paying attention and I got to swerve a little bit to avoid getting hit. I mean, we do the stupid. And all you could do is you say, boy, we got some stupid people on this island now. Or some crazy people on this island now. Just the stupidity that we doing on this island. And we won't put gun in everybody's hand. I don't think I'll come out of my house. Oh, yeah. Let's take a break. We have one more break, right? Yeah. Let's take this break. Then we go wrap it up on the other side. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return at...
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Life, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
All right, we got time for one more clip. This one sort of broke my heart. This is Gerard Darville responding to the release of the report, which detailed the circumstances surrounding his wife Kenice's death. And I'll just let the clip speak for itself. Then we'll spend the last few minutes of the show talking about it.
I don't want to go through this.
Tears not only filled the eyes of Gerard Darville today, but they streamed down his face as he updated me on what he says has been an emotionally draining process in the wake of his wife's death. Kenice Darville died while in the care of physicians at Princess Margaret Hospital January 2023, and her husband has been trying ever since to get the hospital to admit negligence. Now, when we asked Dr. Michael Darville, the health minister, today for an update on that internal report into Kenice's death, he shrugged the responsibility to the managing director of the Public Hospitals Authority.
I would allow Albernette Rule to elaborate on that.
Here's what Roll's update sounded like.
That report would have been prepared, and it was given to Mrs. Darville's husband, who is the next of kin. Mr. Darville has the ability, if he wishes, to expand on that.
Well, here's how our chat with Gerard Darville panned out today.
I then referred that report for clarification to the chairman, to the minister, and to the prime minister, and have been waiting for clarification.
Clarification because he says it provides no real details as to how his wife died, so he went back to the hospital Monday, April 24th for help.
When I went to the hospital, the managing director told the secretary to take my number and she would give me a call. This is the call that I'm getting here from you in the media, saying that she released a statement saying that she is concluded with the matter.
As far as the report says, Kenice contracted COVID while in hospital, and despite all efforts of the healthcare team, her receipt of 19 units of blood didn't change the fact that she was acutely ill, resulting in bleeds and rapid deterioration of her condition. It concluded by saying a final diagnosis could not be confirmed until the hospital received her flow symmetry results, which it did not get until after she died. At this point, he's got a lot of questions for the health minister, who he says gave his assurances that Kenice would be taken care of.
My wife called me in all her glory, saying how the minister of health called her and she feels good now. And you gave me assurances that my wife would be straight. And even if he did make a mistake, if he did say, hey, look here, I tell somebody to deal with it and they didn't deal with it, well, they still don't feel like help. And I didn't campaign for Minister of Health. I campaigned for a Michael Darville, a human, not a portfolio. So from your humanistic side, if you don't have no love for the Bahamian people, I suggest you just resign.
He says he finds it hard to understand why the health minister, who he claims to have a long-standing relationship with, would turn a cold shoulder to him throughout the saga.
I work for Mr. Darville from with Superbuck. He know me. He know my wife. And of all the things to bull my wife on, you bull her on a debt. Dr. Darville already tell me that if I make this public, then he control when my wife get paid and when it don't get paid. So we could just see what it is if he really have all that power.
Wow. That's all I can say on that. Wow. I know Gerard personally. I know him to be an upstanding young man. I also know him to be a strong, staunch PLP. He was actually seeking a nomination. Wow. That's all I can say. If what he is saying is true, wow. Caller, I given you 30 seconds because it's 3:58 and I gotta wrap up. But let's hear from you.
Miss Malcolm.
Yeah.
I could wait 30 seconds away. Listen, what you call that settlements when a government settle, when people suing them and they get the money, they call that settlement.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what I noticed from my new government, I have to vote them in 2021, is that a lot of cases where people have problem with the government, they getting settlement. They even ain't getting through with the case or whatever. This government, I call it a very good thing what they're doing, because some of the cases is really shouldn't happen, but it's penalties when things happen. This is what I want to suggest to my Prime Minister and my New Day government, the Minister of Finance and Mr. Darwell, the Minister of Health. Listen, encourage that guy to sue the government before you all get voted out or we vote you all back in again. Make sure they get their money, like the Commissioner of Police, his deputy, or the former politician, the people who was the chairman of BEC, and all these people who getting their millions of dollars. Settlements, what you call it, but you don't even go to the court case. You say, well, the government agreed to give them what they asked for, and you're telling us, say, you can't tell us the amount because Financial Secretary, them allegedly, they say it sound like they're saying that if they say the amount, everyone go on it when they suing the government. This is a serious case. This been tears with people's lives, and that's what he talking about. He campaigned for them. Wait, Spa, a lot of us going through that OJ here. Maybe we ain't going through with our wife dead, and he say he can be there for them, and he ain't man enough to apologize or whatever, because sometimes when you apologize, you give guilt.
30 seconds gone. 30 seconds
Encourage him
gone.
to sue the government and give him his money before we...
Yeah, we gotta go though. All I could say is wow. Wow. Man, wife dead. Have a good weekend, everybody. Let's show some love. All right? Be safe. I'll see you guys next week.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily
I love to chill out with great music. There's only one place you can get this.